What's up, W and gang? Welcome to today's episode of Biology Bros, where we're going to be talking about one of the greatest scientific collaborations between the two greatest minds in axolotls, Charles Darwin and Alfred Wallace.
That's right. You've all heard of Charles Darwin, but what about Alfred Russel Wallace? Matt, isn't that kind of crazy how both men developed practically the same theory completely separately?
That's pretty crazy, I'm not going to lie. And their collaboration also changed the course of science and biology. So, let's start with Charles Darwin. Born in 1809 in England, he came from a wealthy family. His dad wanted him to become a doctor, but according to Encyclopedia Britannica, Darwin preferred collecting bugs and beetles rather than studying medicine. Eventually, he switched to theology, the study of religion, but still had a deep passion for the natural world, which caused him to pursue collecting bugs, beetles, and insects.
That passion led him to become a naturalist, or a student of natural history, and today, he's best known for his book On the Origin of Species, which was published in 1859, where he introduced the theory of evolution by natural selection. There's
Alfred Russel Wallace, born in 1823. Unlike Darwin, he didn't come from money. According to the Natural History Museum, he was mostly self-taught and became fascinated by the natural world, leading him to travel and study species in some of the most remote places on Earth.
Even though Wallace wasn't as famous, he still made huge contributions to evolutionary biology. And fun fact, he's also known as the father of biogeography, according to the Linnean Society, because he studied how species are distributed across the planet.
You've probably heard of Darwin's legendary journey of the Beagle. According to Britannica, in 1831, at just 22 years old, he set sail on HMS Beagle for a five-year voyage around the world.
That trip was life-changing. He explored the Galapagos Islands off the coast of Ecuador in South America, collecting samples and studying species that would later contribute to his theories on evolution.
He noticed that finches on different islands had slightly different beak shapes and hypothesized that they were adapted to specific food sources on the islands. Finches that ate bugs would have longer beaks for more precision. For example, white shorter beaks were better for breaking open seeds. That was his first clue that species change over time in a process later called evolutionary adaptation.
Wallace had his own groundbreaking journey as well. According to National Geographic, in the 1840s, he explored the Amazon rainforest, but disaster struck. His ship caught fire on the way home, and he lost almost all of his research.
That didn't stop him, though. Wallace persisted, and a few years later, he traveled to Southeast Asia and studied animals in the Malay archipelago. It was there that he started thinking about how species change and evolve,
So here's where the coincidences really begin. Darwin spent over 20 years refining his ideas on natural selection and wasn't in a rush to publish due to fear of controversy.
Meanwhile, in 1858, Wallace, who was completely unaware of Darwin's work, mailed Darwin a letter describing his own theory of natural selection, which he only spent 8 years on, according to National Geographic, and it was almost identical.
Darwin was shocked. He had spent decades working on his theory, but now Wallace was about to publish the exact same idea.
Instead of competing against each other, though, they presented their findings together at the Linnean Society of London in 1858. But because Darwin had more research and a stronger reputation in the scientific community, he got most of the credit when his book On the Origin of Species came out a year later.
So Matt, what exactly is the theory of natural selection?
Well, according to the University of Berkeley, natural selection is a process where organisms and traits better suited to their environments are more likely to survive and reproduce, passing on those advantageous traits to their offspring. This leads to a gradual change in the population over time, also known as evolution.
So essentially, survival of the fittest, right, Matt?
Exactly.
Let's just say people weren't really prepared for this theory. Many religious groups rejected the idea of evolution because it went against their belief that all species were created as they were in God's image.
Even the scientific community was divided. Some recognized this profound discovery, but others thought it was nonsense. Over time, as more evidence piled up, Darwin's ideas became widely accepted by the scientific community and the general public.
Wallace, surprisingly, was totally fine with Darwin getting most of the credit. He even defended Darwin's work publicly.
After On the Origin of Species, Darwin kept researching and writing, especially about plants, earthworms, and even human evolution.
Wallace stayed active in science too, but he also got into spiritualism, which was kind of weird, which was a kind of a weird mix of the natural and supernatural worlds.
In the end, Darwin became a global name, with Wallace faded in the background. That's mostly because Darwin had the support of influential scientists, plus his book was published first.
But Wallace still made huge contributions to science, and his work in biogeography is still studied today, which is why, as we said earlier, he was called the father of biogeography.
No protein.
Darwin and Wallace's theory of natural selection is the foundation of modern biology. It explains everything from antibiotic resistance to why giraffes have long necks.
And even though Wallace isn't as famous, he still played a major role in shaping evolutionary science. Maybe it's time we give him some more credit.
Agreed. So next time someone mentions evolution, remember, it wasn't just Darwin. Wallace was there too.
And now, thanks to W, their names are immortalized.
That's right, because axolotls never die.
Alright guys, that's the video. How many booms, Matt, does Wallace get?
I think Wallace gets 5 big booms for being in the background and helping Darwin a lot. So the 5 big booms, here they come. Boom, 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 boom.
Alright, how about Darwin? How many booms does he get?
Darwin also gets 5 booms. Boom, 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 boom.
Nice.
Guys, make sure to subscribe, comment, like the video. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.